Hippotherapy is part and parcel of the whole rehabilitation program. That will include the clinical activities plus hippotherapy. But hippotherapy has the advantage of getting faster results because of the situation. But at the same time, hippotherapy can enhance the children when they go back into the clinical setup. So we always put it as part and parcel of the whole rehabilitation treatment. With repetitive induction or infusion of sensory input into the brain, you are pushing a lot more again and again messages, and more brain are being occupied on the sensory part. As a result of it, the cell will start to grow, and that's why you can still learn to no matter what age you are. Even an old man can learn because the brain keeps on producing new cells for learning purposes.
Now, conventional therapy normally are done indoors within 4 walls. Hippotherapy, on the other hand, is done in an open setting, in a much more natural setting. First of all, definitely the difference would be hippotherapy would be a more natural way of treatment, of intervention. In hippotherapy, the sensory input that you get is approximately 8 times more than a clinical setting or a classroom setting, okay? Because the movement of the horse is giving the input.
The movement of horse will improve gait walking pattern, because when we need to walk, the gait walk, we need to move all the pelvic and the lower limb. So it will encourage all the muscle of lower limb to get a better gait pattern. First, we do hippotherapy session. So the kids need to ride a horse, and then we have a therapist and set therapist, and also a horse leader to lead the horse. And then during the session, we have 30 minutes. So in the session, we're going to play some games or activity with the kids. Okay, and then we also have several position on horse: forward, backward, and sideward. So between that, we will play the games such as physical activity, cognitive activity. So because the horse already give the sensory input to the child, so we're going to combine all the activity to fulfill the diet for the kids. So when the child sit forward, so it will give posterior and anterior, which is the pelvic will move forward and backward like that. Okay, when the child sit sideward, so it will give the pelvic to move laterally, so like this, left and right. While sit backward also give posterior and anterior. If the horse move fast, so it will give the input for pelvic to move rotation like this. Yes, figure of 8, okay, like that.
It's the movement of the horse that give all the sensory input to the child while on it, and induce the child to respond in a positive way by adapting behavior, which is what we want it to be.
It's multidimensional and it is happening simultaneously. So your vestibular, your proprioception, your tactile, there's visual, there's audio, there's smell. I would say that when they receive much more input that way, and they are challenged much more actually, the effectiveness of their treatment will be much more enhanced.
To actually operate a hippotherapy center, as you know, we are looking at the main star, which is actually the ponies that we use. Ponies and horses are chosen based on their gait, based on their skeletal musculature, because every component of the horse, how they walk, how they stand, actually contributes to the effect that the child will get on the horse. Because ultimately what happens is when the horse moves, it engages with the child's core muscles, and different activities on the horse engages different kinds of muscles. So that also means that our horses and our ponies are trained weekly. So they're not just left in the stables to eat and then come out and walk. You know, there's a trainer that comes in and actually trains them. So that's what we do it for safety reasons, of course, and also that's what the syllabus dictates of us to do.
We have a syllabus that we acquire, which is from Greece. it is called the Hiker program, which stands for Hippo, Kinesio, Education, Rehabilitation. This is an integration of Hippo, horse, Kinesio, the movement, education, and rehabilitation. And we are allowed to practice according to the syllabus that they set. From the day we have started the syllabus, we have also tailor-made the syllabus into our own unique program, which we find it is more effective and has proven to give more results to the children that we see currently.
The main thing that we are looking for whenever we do any treatment is actually focus. The idea of working with a large animal definitely is something which not even I think you and me, we don't come across horses on a daily basis. So even more for these kids when they are actually faced with such majestic animals, it actually creates more interest points, more opportunity of focus for these children to actually engage. And engagement is what we want. Just that 40 minutes, that 30 minutes to 40 minutes of engagement, that's when the treatment actually happens.
Compared to the therapy we had before, I was quite happy that he's a lot happier because he's excited, like, oh, I get to ride a horse, but actually he's working with the horse. And I like that part because I don't like to feel like, oh, just because he has autism, we have to torture him. He's a human being. He deserves a good life, and I feel like hippotherapy is giving him that quality of life. Like he's learning, he's having fun, but it was a steady improvement for me. Like he's not regressing, but what I see most is that his eye contact is way improved. Yeah. So I'm very happy with hippotherapy in that sense.
At first, it was a bit difficult because he didn't like it much, because I think he was a bit inward and he didn't like to be among people and all. He keeps to himself. So it was difficult the first time because we had to push him. That half an hour session, I think it all ended up with only 5 to 10 minutes because he was crying, and I was pushing him on the horse, and the trainers were holding it up there, and it was pulling my tudung, and screaming all the way all around the patch. But we persevered. Each time when he was there, I was sad because I'm so sorry, because I didn't think that is there a solution for him to talk, because he was not talking. We were all very desperate, maybe, and but hoping to God that it would come to something. Along the way, after several months, then he was getting better. So now he's building up his vocabulary, he's talking quite a lot, and he wants to play with his siblings, he wants to join in the fun. So now he loves coming here. I'm so sorry, It's just that every time I talk about him, I feel very emotional.
Riding is good for everyone, not just for your child, but even for yourself. Now, if you're skeptical about your child getting up on the horse, you get on the horse first. Now, that would overcome a lot of fear, a lot of questions, and uncertainty that you have, putting your child on the horse. The horse is a man's best friend for thousands of years. Because when we ride them, you are one with the horse. You move together, you experience the horses, and the horses experience you directly. Every breath that you take and every breath the horse takes, you actually feel each other. I guess the lack of support is due to lack of awareness. Awareness or knowledge about how horses can actually help people, humans with disabilities. If only they are aware, people are aware of this, then I'm very confident that more people would step up and say, yes, we would like to support this.
Now, people are using it a lot for veterans, for drug addicts. There's a lot of healing powers that happens with horse. which people are just discovering, and I really hope like it can be discovered even more in Malaysia especially.
I see one of my child speak for the first time on horse. It's really nice to see that the child asked Tommy to walk, because when we want to go, we need child to ask, okay, Tommy, walk on, like that. After a session, she already pronounced on me. I cried all session because of the word on me.
So right now in Green Apple Hippotherapy, we have 2 employees who are actually special. One is Imran. Imran was our patient. Imran came to us doing hippotherapy, and then he advanced into therapeutic riding. So from hippotherapy, gaining more muscle strength, core strength and muscle tone, then he advanced into therapeutic riding. He was very interested to work with us. So he quit his job, so we employed him. Haziq is our horse handler. His role is in the therapy session as a horse leader. He receives the instructions from the therapist and he carries out the pace of the horse's movement, of the horse's walk, okay, at any one time according to what is needed in the therapy. And Haziq has a very special talent with horses. When he leads the horses would follow him and the movement would be fluid. That's the kind of quality we want in a therapy session. He's not pulling, he's not dragging the horse, he doesn't force the horse in any way, he doesn't put the horse in stress. He's able to generate that peaceful energy to the horse and the whole therapy environment.
Any child has got this special needs, especially autism spectrum, cerebral palsy, and those with global delayed development, Down syndrome, and those with congenital abnormalities. They will benefit a lot more because the therapy is much more natural, the best environment for learning. Come, meet us, we'll explain the whole process for you. From then on, you can decide.